Questions 2B, the ballot question 2B, the 24 new police, also the infinite tax, the $18 million over 5 years, or 300. Josh Bruns, he says that he liked ballot question number 300. He wants a less aggressive retributive application of the law. So he don't want just retribution. He doesn't just want retribution. He wants it to be more of a restorative policing. So he's saying that instead of just going after the crime itself, but also reducing the causes of crimes by creative applications such as the youth-oriented community-based programs. It pursues immediate and long-term solutions. The funds are only spent for police personnel and operating needs. So that doesn't sound like a gymnasium to me. And Mark Aliff is the Mark Aliff of Pueblo City. Bruns believes the community feels there are fundamental problems with the current policing methods, and ballot question 300 offers a novel, accountable, and direct relief to a struggling community, not only by hiring 24 new officers, the main and singular mandate by 2B, but also by institutionalizing accountability and oversight. And the 2B is superfluous in funding, and by the continued application of the retributive paradigm. So Josh Bruns doesn't like the just retribution, right? Just retribution for retribution's sake. Somebody did something, you knock them over the head, and then that's the end of that, right? So you put them through the wash. That's what the guy, Will T. Scott in Kentucky, anyways. Yeah, so he was in favor of 300, and I understand his rationale. Basically, he thinks 300 is the antidote. Huge news for Pueblo City. So a judge that had been voted by overwhelming margins, over 75% in 2008, Colorado voted for this judge. Overwhelming margins, right? 75% super majority. Oh my God, Allison Eid. Allison Eid, it must be Pueblo City's favorite judge ever. So she was on the Supreme Court of Colorado, and now I guess she advanced. Now she's in the federal government. She's in the 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, and they hear cases from 6 western and midwestern states, such as Kansas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado. The court has 18 other judges. So Allison Eid had been appointed by Governor Bill Owens, a Republican, to the state Supreme Court in 2006. Voters retained her. So Allison Eid received her bachelor's degree in American Studies with distinction from Stanford University in 1987. So she's a Stanford University graduate in American Studies with distinction. She's the 95th justice to serve on the Colorado Supreme Court. Her current term expires January 9th, 2019, but since she's been appointed to this Court of Appeals, the federal court, then she's gone, right? She's out. Now we're going to have to retain the next judge that they pick for us, and then we all just, like the sycophants that we are. 75% tells me that's a shitty democracy. It's a shitty democracy, Colorado. In November 2008, she was retained by 75%. Oh my God, Allison Eid, Pueblo loves you, Allison. President Donald Jefferson Trump, Donald Jerkface Trump, Donald Jerkoff Trump, he is saying that Allison Eid could be Supreme Court material. She was the Colorado Supreme Court justice. Now she's in the Court of Appeals. So we'll see if she rules in Donald Trump's favor. See if she makes Big Daddy Strange happy. So he nominated Allison Eid to a seat on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit, the one that was vacated by Neil Gorsuch. And then the American Bar Association rated her as super duper crappy or good or something, I don't know. But yeah, so Allison Eid now is the woman that was, the Senate confirmed the nomination. So Trump nominated it, and the Senate said yes. She's a super right-winger, huge right-winger, big-time Republican. I bet all of her decisions have been partisan. I don't know how she's been able to. I mean, they rule on so many different court cases. None of these are discussed. Nobody knows anything that she's ruled on. How do these judges get into these positions without anybody ever looking at the work that they've actually done? Was she even-handed? Was she fair? Or was she very much a partisan? So you have here, she clerked for Clarence Thomas, right-winger. She's assistant and speech writer to Education Secretary William J. Bennett under Ronald Reagan. So she's part of the Reagan administration. Trump is loving her. She's known as a conservative. She was appointed by a Republican governor. This is a Republican. It's so conservative, it's not even funny. So I don't believe that Pueblo City actually adores her. I bet they forgot who the hell she is. They're just so damn conservative. You know everything that there is to know about Allison Eid. I'm going to tell you a little bit more. Allison had met her husband, Troy, when he was standing in line at a Stanford University dorm cafeteria. She was working as a student food service worker. He was the editor-in-chief of the student newspaper, the Stanford Daily, and it was love at first sight in the meal card line. That's what she said. Then in 2006, a few months after Allison Eid was appointed to the Colorado Supreme Court, George W. Bush, baby Bush, appointed Troy Eid as the 41st United States Attorney for the District of Colorado and the first Egyptian-American U.S. Attorney in the country's history. The Eids reside in Morrison, Colorado, with their son Alex and daughter Emily. But I'm sure you already knew that. That's why I love you. So, yeah, Allison Eid. So, good for her, right? She's moving on up. This 300 thing passes, we're all going to need to sing Amazing Grace at the same time. So, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. 'Twas blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear. And grace, my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. Grace will lead us home. Noel Ginsburg come up with the Switzerland plan, and I told Taylor Voss the boss, Mr. New School himself, that about the Switzerland plan, and I essentially just described it as the business community making 5-year, 10-year forecast and then hooking up the students with the business community. So the business says, we're going to need this many people as engineers, we're going to need this many people as this and that, and then it's up to the school system to find that apprenticeship or to find those jobs, those, important, lucrative jobs to coordinate that between, the workforce and the business community. I thought that's absolutely vital. Everybody that graduates, you got to get a job, sign up for the military, go to college, and basically I just felt like, you graduated now, so get the hell out of here. Wait, Ginsburg, he was working with Denver, some delegation in Denver, and he took 48 business leaders, foundation heads, superintendents of schools, and school board presidents to Switzerland to spend 4.5 days learning about a Swiss apprenticeship system that serves collectively 98% of the Swiss population. What was so powerful to Noel Ginsburg is that in that country where they have about the same percentage of people who get a 4-year degree as we do, around 28%, another 70% will go through a 4-year or 6-year apprenticeship starting in the 11th grade. 70%. College isn't for everybody. We're doing, the rest of the people. 28% go to college. The other 70%, there's only 2% left. The outcomes for this apprenticeship program is they graduate into a middle-class job paying $45,000 to a 6-year apprenticeship, which they start in the 11th grade. They actually gain a college credit for what they're doing, which a college credit, a singular college credit. Okay. So if they choose to go on and get their PhD, they can. So I hope they're saying they can like get not just a credit, but like some sort of actual degree, maybe associates. They do it in businesses from banking to information technology. So banking, information, technology, 230 different pathways in that country, and their youth unemployment rate is, as a result, is around 4%. They've got high skills. So as a very small country, they're competitive globally. They've been thought of in the last 2 years as the most innovative country in the world. Switzerland, tiny country. And I will tell you, I believe it's about their education system. And what's unique to it is this isn't paid for by the government. It's paid for by the industry because they realize an investment in these young people will build their businesses stronger, and it's actually the most efficient and effective way to educate a population. So the business community is investing in this apprenticeship program. They want high educated, talented workers. They want competent workers. Yeah, they probably do need to feel superior to them, but they need competent workers. And we need, to get those nice, green, organic, good, high-quality corporations, your Teslas, your Googles, not your fucking Walmarts. That's like really the bottom of the barrel kind of corporations. We need the best corporations unless they're going to put their headquarters here. I'll consider Walmart if they want their headquarters here. Until then, we should buy out the Walmarts or have our own Walmart and compete against them. Have a municipal Walmart, a municipal discount store that has lots of options. So the Switzerland model by Noel Ginsburg is approved by Voss is looking to be the school board member. There's 2 out of the 5. So they won't walk into a majority like the city council will. The city council, there's going to be a revolutionary change regardless, right? We've all changed ever since all this. We're all different people now. Now, you have the Taylor Voss wants the Switzerland model, Noel Ginsburg Switzerland model. He believes in it. He believes it to be true. Taylor Voss already has a mentorship program, so it kind of just expands his mentorship idea because to expect volunteers to just walk into school and to help out a bunch of poor kids, that's not going to work. But if you could convince these bosses in their self-interest, you're going to need some of these poor kids in 5 to 10 years to do some of this work. Why not tell the school system right now what you need? And so there'll be people that will be ready. So when they're 18, they got a job, they're flying out of here. Dottie Calhoun will hate that. She doesn't want any of the kids to be able to fly. You guys know this or not, but Pueblo, there's hookers here. We got hookers. And I don't mean to be so crude, but there's hookers. So that's Joe Latino, right? He seemed to be surprised that there were prostitutes. Now, I believe in personal freedom. I'm a left libertarian. So me and Michael Stapleton, we agree on prostitution. We agree on the war on drugs. And we agree on gay marriage. We agree on the war. We agree on lots of issues, not economic issues, not the role of government. We disagree fundamentally with the role of government. But I think that there's some compromises that can be made there. But when it comes to my personal freedom, me and Michael Stapleton, we are just dancing in the rain, on the sunshine, or on a mountain. I don't know. Okay, so not only did you all love Allison, let me tell you who else you loved, Pueblo. 2008, and it's a 6-year term, right? So that means she must have got re-upped some point, 2019, so 6 years, 2013. So what is it, 2013 she got it, 2008, 75%, she's retaining her. Allison Eid is just wildly adored. In 2010, Pueblo City also adored Judge Mattoon, but only with 57%. Now, Judge Fieldman, he was loved with 2/3, 66%. And then, of course, there's the Judge Swartz and Judge Flesher, the district judges, both had 70%. So the people loved him. 70% of Pueblo City loves Judge Flesher and Judge Schwartz, and Judge Hearn had 71% approval or retention rate for their 6-year, 6-figure terms. So we're making them rich and powerful. God, Pueblo City, we just made these people so much richer and so much more judges, and these are the local judges. So not even talking about the appeals court judges and the Supreme Court judges, but the local judges. God, we love these judges. 2014, the district judge Alexander got 73% retention rate. So 73% of the people of Pueblo City said, yes, we want Judge Alexander for 6 more years. 6 more years. They love Judge Alexander. They're out of their minds when it comes to Judge Alexander. And then Judge Haynes, not as much, 63%, but still a good majority, 71% for Judge Fieldman and 72% for Judge Lobato. So Judge Lobato, Judge Fieldman, Judge Haynes, Judge Alexander, Judge Fletcher, Judge Mattoon, Judge Schwartz, Judge Fieldman, Judge Hearn. Oh my God, they are adored and loved in Pueblo City. Anytime they're in a parade and a float, the people just lose their goddamn minds. They love these folks. They can't identify any of them or say anything about them or what they believe or probably talk about any singular case that they've ever ruled on, but who gives a shit? Let's just put them back into power. Why? Because the establishment says they're doing a good job. So why question the establishment? You know, I wonder if you could even kick out a judge. Has there ever been a judge who wasn't retained? What the hell happened then? Oh my God, he didn't get retained? There is not a judge that is never not retained. So the fact that Pueblo City voted for Donald Trump, the fact that Pueblo City helped to vote to quash Amendment 71 against initiative, the fact that only 45% turnout rate happened 4 years ago, so we're going to have less than a 50% turnout rate for this year, and the fact that we have these judge retention elections, there's no fucking way Pueblo City they can't even recognize them. They can't even point them out. Cities aren't natural. We're trying to figure out, we're packed in here like sardines. We're trying to figure out how to live amongst each other, let alone know. Francisco Pancho Villa. Francisco was his first name. He was born Jose Doroteo Arango Arambula on June 5th, 1878, died July 20th, 1923. He was a Mexican revolutionary general and one of the most prominent figures of the Mexican Revolution. Pancho Villa, as a commander of the Division del Norte, Division of the North in the Constitutionalist Army, he was a military landowner at Caudillo of the northern Mexican state of Chihuahua. Given the area's size and mineral wealth, it provided him with extensive resources. Villa was also provisional governor of Chihuahua in 1913 and 1914. Villa can be credited with decisive military victories leading to the ousting of Victoriano Huerta from the presidency in July 1914. Pancho Villa subsequently led a hit-and-run raid against the small U.S.-Mexican border town in the Battle of Columbus, March 9, 1916, and then fled in fear of U.S. retaliation. The U.S. government sent U.S. Army General John J. Pershing to capture Villa, who continued to run and hide in an unsuccessful 9-month incursion into Mexican sovereign territory. The Pancho Villa expedition that ended when the U.S. entered World War I and Pershing was recalled. In 1920, Pancho Villa made an agreement with the Mexican government following the ouster and death of Carranza to retire from hostilities and was given a hacienda near Parral, Chihuahua, where he turned into a military colony for his former soldiers. In 1923, as presidential elections approached, he re-involved himself in Mexican politics. Shortly thereafter, he was assassinated, most likely on the orders of Villa was assassinated most likely on the orders of Obregon. So Obregon can kiss my ass. He can lick my taint. Obregon can, what a fucking dickhole, right? Obregon is, what a piece of shit. Obregon is a dick. He is a piece of low-life, no good, dirty, rotten chunk of corn and tatered shit. So the Pueblo Treatment Center stripped of its license after complaints. This was obvious. They were sitting there beating the shit out of the kids, throwing the kids around, lighting them, putting cigarette lighters on them, letting them run around, and then holding them, choking them, and just beating the crap out of them, basically. So this is the county. The county can't even take care of the kids, and yet they want a jail. They're taking our vulnerable children who are coming out of these drug houses, and they're beating the shit out of them. That's how you think that their humanity is going to be restored, by oppressing the living shit out of them? The county failed. And they treated these at-risk, vulnerable children like dog shit. They treated them really bad. It wasn't as bad as I said, but complaints of abuse, lack of supervision, underfeeding the kids, not feeding the kids, that's definitely child abuse. So There was physical violence, physical restraints, inappropriate discipline, violation of children's rights, and lack of supervision. It's just all really, really bad. So El Pueblo Boys and Girls Club, the Ranch, has been shut down, and they will never be allowed to operate in Colorado ever again. And that's a good thing. This just makes me think that we need to go to the direction of a treatment center anyways, but we can't even treat our children in treatment centers correctly. We need an adult treatment center, not a jail. If we had an adult treatment center, we'd probably be treating them the same way. We don't know how to treat people with love and compassion. We haven't been taught this. We throw people away in jail, and then we just expect them to fix themselves. Executive Committee of the Sierra Club, they believe in the Sierra Club principle. The Sierra Club doctrine is let's keep landfills and let's keep methane here. They have no plans whatsoever to change our trash situation. They want to carry on and contribute to global warming. They have no other plans. They just want to carry on with the status quo, and that's more trash, more landfills, and more methane gas emanating from those landfills. And I'll tell you how I know about this, but first I want to mention them by name. The chair, Charlotte Bieber, Scott Estep, Ross Vincent, Patrick Poulos, David Cockrell, Shep Hobgood, Tom Corlett, Frank Cordova, and Donna Murphy. None of them actually give a shit about the environment. They endorsed Ed Brown over Josh Bruns. Josh Bruns is more economically friendly. He's a vegan. He drives an electric car. He is the change we actually want to see in the world. They are totally fucked up. The Sierra Club wants to completely change their form of government illegally too. So they're anti-revolutionaries. They're stripping Section 1.2, the Charter Convention Clause, out of Section 1.2. They're stripping it. They're taking it away because they don't want you to have a voice. They don't want the people to have a say-so, and they don't want to abide by the rule of law. They don't believe in any kind of law, any kind of constitutional law. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I bet you they don't operate by the rule of law. They don't. So they've endorsed Tommy Farrell for District 1. They endorsed Ed Brown for District 3, Dennis Flores and Jason Muniz for at-large. And then they said yes for Big Daddy Strange. So Big Daddy Strange is strange indeed. This is a political, bullshit. So essentially the reason why they endorsed Ed Brown over the environmentalist Josh Bruns is because they like Ed Brown. They're friends with Ed Brown. They don't actually give a shit that their platform is more. I have a platform as a citizen. I also had a rubric, and the rubric was 4 points for policy, 4 points for implementation, 1 point for optics, and 1 point for my relationship. And even though I give them 1 point, I still wonder. When you have a positive relationship, then it does give you kind of a rose-colored perspective on a person's platform versus if you don't. But my point in doing that, my point in putting 4 points on this policy, 4 points in the implementation of the policy, and only 1 point for the relationship, is that personally the relationship would help me out. But if they were a super duper progressive, if they were going to end homelessness, fight against poverty, end the war on drugs, if they were going to put solar trees all over the place, get us municipal Wi-Fi, municipal trash, get a hand in the market to not monopolize, but to just one company to make sure we're not being price gouged, then he was, a progressive badass, and I was not friends with that progressive badass. That progressive badass should be elected. I should say, you know what, even though they don't like me for whatever reason, maybe he's just busy, maybe he's got his Dunbar's number, he's already got his 140 friends, so he's maxed out on his friendship. He's good, he's done with the friends, right, 140, that's it. So that would be selfish on my part to say, well, we have a bad relationship, so therefore I'm going to deprive the city of this progressive badass just because I don't have a good relationship. So I think that that's important. So let's take a look at Ed Brown. He's a retired firefighter. People who have very little to say about Ed Brown always seem to mention that. It says that he did something about something and another thing. Supports strategies to reduce the carbon footprint. He's an advocate for clean water. Council resolution committing the city 100% renewable energy sources by 2035. So that's the Paris Agreement. Is that what that is? 100% renewable energy resources. So he voted for that. They all did. I mean, the Noel Rocky Court passed that, and exploring alternatives to Black Hills. He supports strategies to reduce the city's carbon footprint, including measures as paper and cardboard recycling. Oh, did he come up with that? Did Ed Brown come up with paper and cardboard recycling? I bet he's probably the first person that said that. No, actually, Josh Bruns wants for-profit recycling centers. They actually make money by taking in your stuff. He wants hybrid and natural gas-fueled vehicles and rooftop solar. He wants that, right? Dreams and a nickel will get you a pickle, but you won't have the dreams no more. I mean, you can want and fighting for something that's two different things, right? And then he's an advocate for clean water and flood control in Fountain Creek. He wants a development of better, but not least, he's going to encourage the city Petco to pursue businesses that promote sustainable energy. Okay. So Petco, the corporatist fucking thing that only you can use for Walmart and the big corporations, we're going to make sure that they're promoting sustainable energy. Yeah, I'm sure, right? I'm sure all the fucking shit that Petco's financed, they got solar panels on their rooftops. I'm sure that's the case. So he come up with paper and cardboard recycling, so that should show you that they are barely picking at straws, just like the chieftain. The chieftain said with Ed Brown that he has no new ideas. But since he's a safe choice, he's always voted with Noel Rocky. Whatever Noel Rocky wanted, he just rubber-stamped Noel Rocky's decision. But Noel Rocky's not in there anymore, so who is Ed Brown going to listen to? Are you sure he's a safe bet? He's going to be, he might be friends with some of these other folks. So, but he has no new ideas, but that's okay. Sierra Club believes in patronage. They believe in the good old boy network. They believe in scratch your back, you scratch yours, you scratch mine, I'll scratch your back. They believe in quid pro quo. They give a shit about the environment. The Sierra Club does not give a flying fuck about the environment. They are endorsing the most environmentalist person is not getting the endorsement because they're going to go with their fucking buddy who's got no new ideas. Oh, actually, he does have a new idea. Ed Brown is going to bring cardboard and, paper. Oh, yeah, cardboard and paper recycling. So watch out, Pueblo City. Cardboard and paper recycling's coming to, probably not for another 5 years, and then it'll get kicked out and be pushed. Remember that recycling center that got kicked out? And then Big Daddy Strange, they went ahead and supported a ballot measure. Why are they, this has nothing to do with the environment. What the fuck is changing electoral politics going to do? The Sierra Club believes in cronyism. They believe in the spoil system, the patronage. They're corrupt. Corruption is when you help out your friends and your family, and you don't help out anybody else. If you only help out your friends and family, you're not a public servant. When you get in there, you're supposed to help, the people. You're supposed to be fearless and loyal to the common people. That's William Justice Goebel. So just a couple things about the Big Daddy Strange. It's going to destroy our sovereignty. We're not going to have home rule status. This is a power giveaway to the county. This is it neuters constitutional revolutions. Even the people that say that they're against it cannot say the word convention. Constitutional conventions is what created Colorado. Constitutional conventions created the United States of America, and charter conventions created Pueblo City. A charter convention. Convention. Can you hear? Do you understand that how important a convention is? Far worse damage than that. It gives immunity to all the city employees. Section 6.4 says, all right, pure fucking immunity. You all can injure anybody and everybody now. So you better hurry up and put your application into the city because you can injure anybody and everybody. And if you're not an employee of the city, well, you better watch your back because these city employees are now allowed to attack you, and you have to look up the state law and this and that. They neutered it. They cut it out. Section 6.4. It was about streets and alleys, but now city employees can injure you, and they get complete immunity, including the police. So, yeah, good fucking job, Sierra Club. And there's no charter convention, no 21 delegates. This wasn't a come one, come all thing. This was a Chamber of Commerce, big boss mayor bullshit. So there's 70 amendments in one. There's no popular democracy for the city clerk, the deputy city manager, the fire, the police chief, the finance director. None of the directors, the public works director, the 20. And Bob Schilling is the mustache of Pueblo City. He's the mustache of Pueblo City. He is known here far and wide. The man, the myth, the mustache.